is because I read the books from the time I was a kid, and I'm 52 now, so I'm dating myself. So in the original interview, they changed the movie from the book. It's different. In the movie, Louis loses his brother. His brother is obsessed with religion and wants to give all the family's money to the church, and then kills himself. That's Louis' depression and drama. In the movie, Louis loses his wife and his child, and that's the main difference between it. But otherwise, the whole thing with Claudia is, if you know anything about Anne Rice, her background is that Claudia is kind of modeled after the daughter that Anne Rice lost in real life. It's the child that never grew up, right?
Right.
Well, a lot of people online are showing in interviews with, who's the girl who played Claudia in the movie?
Kirsten Dunst.
Kirsten Dunst. And her interview is that her first on-screen kiss was with Brad Pitt, and she said it was gross because she was a child. She was 11 years old, and he was just like 31. And that is gross if you put it in that context, but it wasn't a kiss in the sense of
like a
kiss to a. It wasn't even a peck in my opinion. It was the whole relationship between the two was a father and daughter relationship.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's weird, but I kissed my parents. It was,
I actually remember her saying that in an interview a long time ago, and I think people dig things up and take it out of context and apply all their weird, everybody's a sexual predator stuff they're focusing on now. And it's just not how it was. It was, she was like their little, she was like they were the couple, and that was their little girl. And the scene in the movie, it's just so, it looks like someone just sort of giving a quick little kiss, not because they're romantically involved, but because it's like a daughter figure, like you said.
Exactly. That's what. If I went back and watched the movie, one thing I after watching it from when it first came out to now is I realized, oh my God, it is so much more gay than I remember.
The subtext is definitely there.
To the TV program, and have you watched the Interview with the Vampire series?
I tried and I turned it off. No offense, but it's too. I don't mind it when it's sublime and subcontext, but when it's right in your face and it's using themes that are not even the book, I'm like, okay, well,
Phil,
that's obviously for someone else.
Phil,
put it that way.
Phil, they're probably talking about on the TV show they had flying butt sex, and I was shocked.
Well, in the book. See, in the book, in Anne Rice's books, the vampires can't have sex. That's the one part of their body that no longer works. However, Anne does have a homosexual theme that runs through all of her books. Even the one, A Cry to Heaven, which is about the castrati, has some homosexual scenes in it. So Anne had, a fascination with that and, had homosexual friends. So it wasn't a big deal with her. She wrote about it. But in the movie, I just forgot how much it just seemed that after watching it now, it really seems like Tom and Brad are a gay couple and Claudia is their little girl. And
so what was the argument you were having, Phil?
Well, the argument is that somebody was taking great offense that Kirsten Dunst's parents let their daughter kiss Brad Pitt, and he was 31 years old. I'm like, well, she's acting as his daughter in a movie where she's kissing her father.
Yeah.
So how is this?
You know what's really interesting about that novel is when Anne Rice wrote it, she originally saw herself as Louise and her husband, Stan Rice, as Lestat. So, I don't know, she wrote them as two male characters. Then eventually she would come and she would talk about it. She would say, actually, I realized that I was both Lestat and Louise. So they're kind of more internal characters of herself. And I think each generation goes and applies their own stuff to it. And we're like a hyper-sexualized society now anyways. We're over the edge, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah, definitely a lot more than it was when the movie was first made and brought out. So,
are you guys ready for Talamasca?
Say that again.
Sorry.
Are you guys ready for Talamasca?
What about Talamasca?
That's by Anne Rice. It's some type of secretive organization that watches over vampires, witches, werewolves, whatever.
I looked for that after Queen of the Damned came out. I looked for that place so I could join it because I wanted to join this society. It's not real. And they had paranormal societies, which was what Telemasca was supposed to be. But, the actual Telemasca, where it dealt with the vampire parts, was not. I was so disappointed.
Melissa, are you gonna watch Telemasca when it comes on?
I'll try and check it out. I'm so out of tune with the modern stuff. Every time I watch a modern vampire thing, I'm totally disillusioned. However, I will say I checked out Dracula: A Love Tale, and it was pretty good.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, I got access to it online.
What's your favorite vampire movie? Of all time,
Well,
old one, new one, whatever.
I'll start off. I couldn't remember this before. I was like, how did I get into vampires? And I'll tell you the first one that I remember that got me intrigued by vampires. I always thought it was Gary Oldman in Bram Stoker's Dracula, which was one of my favorites. But I actually, when I was 10, probably became fascinated with the Monster Squad and the guy who did Dracula in that movie. But I also love, like, Werner Herzog's Nosferatu from 1979 and the Count Orlok figures. I love Christopher Lee. It's hard to choose, but the figure that I loved when I was younger that got me into vampire literature was Gary Oldman or Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula.
And
he was pretty hot in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this new movie out, Dracula: Love Tale, really it's different, but yet it follows that kind of line, that similar theme.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to watch that. My favorite, what got me into vampires, well, the original Dracula, of course, Universal's Dracula. I just watched that again the other night before last, and just laugh at how cheesy it is. But what got me really hardcore into vampires, probably Lost Boys. So that's always, it's always gonna have a special place in my heart.
It's a really good movie, and it's funny that he asked about the Stockton vampire in California, because when this person came to me about that, I was like, oh, is that like Lost Boys?
Santa Cruz? What about you, Phil?
Well, I Lost Boys. You took it. I think one because it was when I was a teenager when that came out, and it was just cool. It was just a cool movie. I mean, Jim Morrison music in the beginning, Echo and the Bunnymen great soundtrack, great cast. It was practically like a Brat Pack cast almost, and then it was funny, so it was like comedy, horror, cool, all wrapped into one. Phenomenal cast, and it holds up. I can go back and watch that movie, and it's still good.
Yeah.
And I grew up with the classics. I mean, honestly, the first one I remember as a little kid, I think I was like maybe, 10 years old, was the old, or maybe before that even, that my grandparents and my uncle, my aunts used to wake me up when I was a kid to watch the old Hamer films. That would come on Fuller Theater. The old English, Christopher Lee Draculas. And those kind of like terrified me as a kid, because, he was pretty scary looking, for a little kid. But then I remember when Frank Langella came out as Dracula, and this was like the disco 70s Dracula. So he was like he was on the cover of like Playboy magazine back then. He was like the Dracula sex symbol.
Yeah, he was very romantic.
Yeah, it was really kind of crazy.
Who was the tannest vampire?
Oh, that was Love at First Bite with George Hamilton.
George Hamilton, yes.
Which was awesome. Funny movie.
George Hamilton, I got to ask him about that too.
One of my favorite parts. Zadine, you know that movie Love at First Bite? What I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Do you remember the scene where the guy in the movie, instead of holding up a crucifix to him, he holds up a Jewish star? And George Hamilton goes, why don't you go find yourself a nice Jewish girl? It was just a great movie.
Hey, I saw that guy down in Los Angeles in Studio City. He was sitting, I guess, studying the script, and he had some really nice shoes. So I saw the shoes before I saw him. And when I realized it was him, and I asked him, I just told him that I liked that movie, Love at First Bite.
That's great. How awesome.
He's a Leo, by the way.
Okay.
Hey, Stacy, a person that I'm trying to get on the show is Tim Capello. I talked to him, and he was thinking about getting on the show, but he said his schedule's too busy. And Tim Capello is the bare-chested saxophone player in Lost Boys.
I love him.
And
oh
also,
my God, I would love to meet him.
that's what I thought.
He gets
And
like 30 seconds on screen, but he impressed everybody forever.
yeah, and also too with Tina Turner. He was playing the saxophone with Tina Turner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Thunderdome.
Oh yeah, Thunderdome. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to get him on the show. The guy's quite the character.
Well, you need to tell him to hurry up and get on our show because we love him over here.
If you ever want to read some really demented vampire movie books, go look up Fred Saberhagen and read his chronicles, because he takes it in a completely different direction that I've never read anything else. They're like in a different realm. There's another world that parallels our own, and I don't want to spoil it for you, but his vampires can have sex, and it's just absolutely insane, the different stuff that goes on with it, and yeah, I don't want to ruin it. It's pretty wild.
All right, well, make sure you link that below so we know who to go back to, so we can look up those books.
Hey, no.
I read those in the early '90s when I was in the Marine Corps. They were like sitting inside the base, library, and it was just they had the whole set. I went through all of them. They're pretty wild.
Wow.
Melissa, you're into the 1970s vampire horror? Is that correct?
I think it's late 60s, early 70s are the best. Because, of course, vampire movies, all horror movies changed after The Exorcist. So, kind of like somewhere between 67 and 73, there's some really good campy movies out. I mean, I like the Roger Corman films, too, and all that kind of stuff.
Roger Corman.
I love that style. And so, things like Count Yorga, I think are great. I love the fact that in the 70s, they could just go out and film a movie. They would not get a permit. They'd just go indie, film it on the streets, and then take off before the cops came. So you're literally getting real stuff. I just love the fact that they got away with so much.
That was like Divine in the city to film all kind of stuff. Melissa, what did you think of the series, even though it's not all vampire, but Penny Dreadful?
I've never watched that. I have actually not watched it. I'm so out with the modern. It's sad.
That was pretty good. You might want to check that one out.
It's a new series called Penny Dreadful, but they because Phil, they had the whole sexual theme. Everybody was like, everybody was like, I don't even know what sex you want to call it, but and then, but they had the vampire, they had the Frankenstein, they had the werewolf, but the way they mixed in Dracula and the vampire, they actually had him as the brother of Lucifer, and they had him more as a split, like they had him as twins, and so the Satan or the devil was more, with tricking people and getting their soul, whereas Dracula was about feeding on them, eating and converting people, but so they had them as brothers. It was kind of interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah. I like when they do.
It was well done. Sorry, Stacey. I thought it was well done, and it didn't pander too much to the modern audience. That a lot of the new shows tend to do. It paid homage to a lot of the classic horror that Zandy was talking about. It did bring up the Frankenstein's monster in a true to form way that didn't necessarily I don't want to ruin it.
No, Phil. I want you to expound upon this. Did you think that it was a trip how they did Frankenstein the woman, the female version, because in the original movie, like in the 70s, in the 60s, Frankenstein was created, and then Dr. Frankenstein made a girlfriend or a woman for him, a counterpart, and as soon as he electrified her and brought her to life, she didn't want any parts of Frankenstein at all.
That was, yeah.
But what they did in this one, and two things, the use of electricity to regenerate limbs and all that stuff, that's a real thing. People are finding out now, so it's ironic that they did that to reanimate a body that goes beyond the genetic code. But the other thing is that the woman, when she was awakened, she played like she didn't have any memories. She remembered everything that happened to her, all the men, all the people that abused her, and she had like a master plan. And she was super intelligent. And she, so the character, they actually did a lot with her character compared to the other ones.
Yeah, she was one of the best female characters I've seen in modern times.
Wow,
which is so cool because, a lot of times movies, they'll change a male character into a female character because they have to, we don't have enough female characters, we just gotta make one. This time, they had one and they did it awesome. They didn't make her a dummy. They made her powerful, and it was intelligent, and they used her pain in an intelligent way, and it was so believable and cool and well done, and it's so refreshing to see something. It was just cool. It's definitely worth a watch. And it's funny, Sandine, that you bring it up because I just watched the original Bride of Frankenstein from 1935, 90-year-old film the other night. Which still stands the test of time. Talk about a masterpiece from 90-year-old movie. The only cheesy part about the whole movie is when they show the little people that the guy did for his experiments. I mean, that's kind of corny, but other than that, you can totally see.
It was so good.
It was good, but that was cheesy. But if you look at that movie, you can totally see where they got young Frankenstein from. Almost that whole movie is like young Frankenstein. They took young Frankenstein right from the Bride of Frankenstein.
Oh my God, it was so funny.
Yeah, so iconic and so many metaphors.
Well, the lady from Penny Dreadful that you were talking about, Phil. I think the most powerful scene was when Dr. Frankenstein had teamed up with this guy, this Indian gentleman who played Dr. Jekyll, and he was like, they both were like outcasts from the university, and he was like, I have experiments. He said, you have experiments? He said, well, come see mine. So they started working on like a serum that would change people from homeless, deranged, psychotic, to just back to their normal selves.
You're spoiling it for Melissa. Don't ruin it for her.
She doesn't need to watch it now.
She does. This scene right here where she pleaded with him so bad, and she did such a good scene to where they wouldn't experiment any further on her. I'll put it that way. But the reason why he declined to give her that serum, it'll make you cry. It'll blow you away.
Yeah.
You have something to look forward to, Melissa. Check it out.
There you go.
Hey, Melissa, I want to play a little game with you. I have 6 vampire movies that I really like. I want you to rate them from 1 to 10, 10 being the best. And I'm going to name the movies now. Dusk to Dawn.
Probably about a 7.
7? Okay.
For me.
The original Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh, I'm gonna say 7 too. I like that movie.
Okay. Queen of the Damned.
I'm going 5. That just didn't do it for me.
Okay. What We Do in the Shadows.
What was that? Sorry.
What We Do in the Shadows.
Haven't watched it yet. Can't tell ya.
Okay. All right.
I don't have Netflix.
Daybreakers.
Haven't watched that yet.
Okay. And the last one, Underworld.
I'm gonna say a good 8. That's a good series.
All right.
I love that series.
Okay. And now, Phil, Stacy, and Zandine, what are your favorite vampire movies? Phil?
Lost Boys, definitely at the top. Like I told Stacy before.
Yep. Same.
Probably number one. God, The Hunger, number two. Because and that's almost number one. It's really right up there with Lost Boys. It's just a completely different kind of movie than Lost Boys. So as far as like serious vampire movie, The Hunger's number one. Comedy vampire movie, Lost Boys. What We Do in the Shadows, the movie, not the series, also pretty close because that's hilarious.
It is. It's hilarious. I love it. Yes.
It's a really good movie. New Zealand casting crew, great series there. There's so many great ones. I mean, even
there's way too many.
Yeah, even crappy ones I kind of like because I have to think of bad movies too. You know, sometimes the real bad ones are great. Yeah, I mean, honestly, the only bad one that I've seen in recent years was like that Dracula 2000 piece of shit.
Yeah, that one wasn't really
you know,
great.
things like that are kind of cringy. The Underworld thing, I think, was like when it first came out. The first one was great. I mean, who didn't like to see her in all that leather? You know, it was great. But I'm a man. I have to admit, she looks great in it. But after watching Key and Peele make fun of those movies, I really can't take those movies seriously anymore. Have you seen the Key and Peele skits on the Underworld movies?
No.
Oh my God. You can't watch those movies
Are
after
they
watching those
hilarious?
Look, Jim Carrey made fun of Gary Oldman's Dracula on Living Color, and that's hilarious.
It's
funny.
It's akin to that. Well, I'm not gonna go back. Go look up Key and Peele, like makes fun of
Underworld parodies.
Yeah, Phil,
they
send me the link on
piss
that.
out of it. They really do.
Okay.
Send me the link on that one.
Yeah.
I wonder if Drunk History has like a Vlad the Impaler episode. They must. I'm gonna have to look that up. Someone telling the history of Vlad all drunk.
Oh, I know, right? So that's so funny because whenever we were talking the monsters, I just watched the one about Mary Shelley and how she came up with everything. That one was really funny. It was like, and then she was like, so I'm doing this. It was just, I love how the Drunk History is awesome. So if you guys haven't watched any Drunk History, definitely watch it.
Yeah, for sure. It's good. There's some whenever Winona Ryder's on there performing, she's just
Yeah. We'll have to look that up and see if there is any one on just
I would
Dracula
be
or Vlad.
shocked if there's not. I would be shocked.
Have you ever seen a movie called Gothic from 1986?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was the story of Percy Bysshe Shelley and Lord Byron, right? They all kind of
how she came up with Frankenstein. When you were talking about that, I just made me think of that.
Yeah. Now imagine that story being told totally drunk.
Drunk History. Oh, that'd be great.
It was hilarious.
And Stacy is friends with Buffy the Vampire Slayer because I met Stacy at Witchapalooza, and Christy Swanson was there, and I was interviewing Christy.
Yeah.
Nice.
And Malcolm McDowell, and he kept calling him his Clockwork Orange name.
Oh yeah, and it's so funny because they go, Paul, go interview Rowdy. I go, Rowdy McDowell. I go, oh, Rowdy's up there. So I'm thinking in my head, oh yeah, he knew Elizabeth Taylor and stuff like that. So I went over there. Yeah, so tell me about Elizabeth Taylor. And I wasn't really looking at his face. It's fucking Malcolm McDowell. I was so embarrassed. Oh my God, they were telling me it was Rowdy. Oh my God, he looks at me and goes, you got the wrong McDowell. I go, I said, I loved you in Clockwork Orange. I know. I go, Malcolm, you were great in Clockwork. They got to do a sequel. I was so embarrassed. Yeah, I was embarrassed. Oh my God.
was funny.
Oh,
It came out
and I kept my demon warrior mask on because I was so embarrassed. And he was walking towards our booth, and I made sure my mask was on because I didn't want him to recognize me.
It was hilarious. Yeah.
Oh
So,
God.
not friends with Chris, but I love Malcolm. He was so sweet. About the only like major celebrity that I was ever like friends with is was Tony Todd.
Oh.
So yeah, yeah, that was fun.
That was crazy. That was crazy.
How much time we got?
Well, okay, we got 7 minutes. And Melissa,
7 minutes.
so we're going to take a,
Okay.
after 7 minutes, we're going to take a 10-minute break, and then we're going to send you a second link so we can finish up the interview. I'm sorry, Phil, go ahead.
What's your favorite vampire book series, Melissa?
It's definitely I think it's probably Interview with the Vampire would have to be the best. I did like the Chelsea Quinn Yarbo books that she had on that Count Germain, but Anne Rice is a better writer, and I would say that my favorite book of the series was The Vampire Lestat.
Yeah, me too.
The second one.
I haven't seen that. I haven't read that one yet.
It's good.
That's the best one.
It's his backstory. It's his story of how he became. I would definitely read it.
Well,
Killer.
you know what I love, though? Is Anne Rice, all her books connect. So it's like a Anne Rice multiverse. Just like Stephen King. Stephen King, you look at it, all his stories connect. All of them.
Yes.
And even his son, Joe Hill, when he writes his story, he connects it to the Stephen King universe.
Paul.
I like Salem's Lot. I mean, Salem's. I don't know if Salem's Lot is.
Oh, yeah.
Salem's Lot is a vampire. I guess it's a vampire, but the short story was Jerusalem's Lot.
Yep.
You know, and I thought that was really good.
Yeah.
Is that the only time that Stephen King did vampires?
Let's see. Jerusalem's Lot. Let me think about that, because I might have to.
I know John Carpenter did vampires. I thought that was. I mean, it dates itself, but it was pretty good.
Yeah.
What did everybody think of the Van Helsing's daughter series where she turned people? That one series where the vampires were turning each other back into human.
I haven't watched it.
It was pretty good because the vampire. It was a